Welcome to the very first episode of Cupcake Chats, and it is your boy Jazan Azari. I decided to give you the very first episode today because today is a very important day for people in my field. Today is National Publicist Day, and many people don't quite understand what a publicist does, but for some people, we're looked at as quote unquote babysitters for whoever our client may be. But honestly, it's so much more in detail than that. And I'll give you a brief description. You are pretty much contacting the press, the media, whichever term you choose, to make your client on hand seen. And people really think that is easy, but it's not. Even though you see people on CNN or on Tamron Hall or Wendy Williams, like on talk shows like that, even Good Morning America, the Today Show, like all of that is a joint effort between the company and a publicist. And you have to make sure the time is right because you might be trying to push something that doesn't really align with what is going on at the moment, or it may even be deemed unimportant or irrelevant, depending on who you're dealing with. A great example of that was over the course of the summer we had the Black Lives Matter movement. And I work with a lot of music entertainers. And that was a very sensitive time because honestly, people were not trying to hear your music unless it had a actual message. Not saying people don't make songs with a intentional theme, but if it didn't align with what was going on with what the media was projecting, and yes, the word is projecting because they only show you what they want to see. And that is also something a publicist witnesses firsthand. But if you weren't in that line of what they were showcasing on TV, your client just wasn't gonna get any time to shine. Like they really wanted the black anthems, the inspire my people, like protests, adrenaline, heart racing music. And for a good month and a half, I just didn't send anything because one, it was just a very dark time, not just for the world, but for media, because a lot of people lost jobs and people really don't understand how much work goes into being a publicist. Some people feel like, oh, you just send the email and blah, blah, blah. That may be true, but you have to have a game plan, and most people call these game plans rollouts. And in a rollout, you pretty much put together topics that you want to hit that concern what your client has going on for that project or the time being. And you want to reel in the outlets that can best tell that story or that version of your client's story to get it out to their audience, as well as, give your client content that they can share with their audience as well. Like you want to be able to blend with various individuals to expand your network. So for future things, you have different listeners that can also introduce whatever you have going on to other people. And that in itself is very time consuming. and people don't know the work that goes into those. Like, let's just say the whole entire Black is King by Beyonce. It may seem like it was like a overnight thing that got rolled out in 30 days. No, stuff like that takes months. Even like when Rihanna just drops a song out of nowhere. Stuff behind the scenes had probably been pitched to different editors for months. And when it comes to pitching, you have to know who you're pitching. Like, you don't want to pitch an entertainment story to somebody that doesn't deal with entertainment. And at the same time, you don't want to pitch a entertainment piece to an entertainment person that might not be able to tell the story of your client at that time, because just because that's their lane doesn't mean that they're the best person suited. And some of the best people, in my opinion, don't even work at major outlets anymore. Most of them are freelancers due to a firing spree in early May, which, my industry still hasn't recovered from. But when you're talking rollouts, you want to get the key people to tell your story. You want to give layers of content for the fans and supporters to enjoy, as well as give different varieties of your client's project seen in different ways. Like, you might want to tell the story of your client that has something that is for a protest that they may have participated in, but you want to tell it from a fashion point. Like, you want to know why they wore what they wore at a protest versus with an entertainment or culture person, why they chose to use a certain song to empower the people to march. Like, that is the best thing to do when it comes to a layout. But I will say this to all my publicists out there: happy National Publicist Day. If you have one, please respect your publicists. They really go up to bat for you if they're doing their job. And on that note, I'm going to end this brief little cupcake chat. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Audio Mac at Jazan Azari. And I'll see you next time.